Beyonce sang a song. Who runs the world? Girls. Who runs the world? Girls. Well, who runs the world? It's a very important question. It's a political question. Who runs the world? A lot of people think that the United Nations run the world, but we do know the United Nations has got no power. Or nations have got sovereignty. That's the popular belief. But I like to dispel that and tell you that there is no nation that has got true sovereignty. Nations are sovereign or exist at the mercy of those who run the world. And those who run the world are mysterious because perhaps they're not even people. Okay. Well, I don't know, there's a spiritual layer involved, that the people that run the world are not human beings, they're spiritual beings. And but they do interact with people, not with all people, with the select people, a few people in the world that they select to communicate with, deal with, and help run the world. And they choose countries, they choose which country is a superpower. For example, the United States is the superpower of the world. Okay. So as a state, USA, I want you to listen to me very carefully. As a state, USA runs the world. And all countries say they are sovereign or they are respected as countries because the United States say so. If the United States wakes up tomorrow and says Zimbabwe is no longer a country, Zimbabwe is no longer a country. Okay. If the United States wake up tomorrow and say the whole of Africa is one country, the whole of Africa is one country. That thing of no, people's rights, no, we go vote, all of those things, democracy, all those ideas of democracy and voting, they came about because those who run the world thought that that is how we are going to run the affairs of men. We are going to divide men into 200 and something countries, and each country is going to be led by a government, and we shall call it sovereignty. Every government has got the power to do what it does in this country. They've got their own constitution. That is the political uh, posturing of those who run the world to make you believe that. But in reality, all countries exist at the mercy of the superpower. Remember, I said in the first place when I was starting that the people that run the world may not actually be people, they're just spirits. And the spirits that run the world choose a superpower. I said USA is a superpower. Well, USA itself is a superpower because the spirits that run the world say so. If the spirits that run the world want Egypt to be the next superpower, by the end of next week, USA will be destroyed and Egypt will be the superpower of the world. It's not about Egyptians being better than the other people or Americans being worse off. No, it's about those who run the world making a decision to say which is the next superpower after USA, or even deciding for how long will the United States of America be a superpower. When they decide that they don't want USA, if let's just say they want China to be a superpower, they will make China a superpower. If they decide that now we want China to appear as if they're about to be a superpower, but they will not be a superpower, we'll still stick to USA. USA will still become a superpower. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that at the end of the day, the one who's above it all is Jesus Christ. Okay. It's Jesus Christ, his spirits that choose nations, or that choose the nation that leads. And the nation that leads begin to lead all the other nations. Like today, USA leads all nations. But them, the United States, are led by the spirits that run the world. If the American politicians piss off the spirits that run the world. Those spirits go to another country. They look for another country and do other things in another country. They don't really fear USA. They don't fear Washington at all, those spirits. They don't. They are the ones who control Washington. They control everyone. All 7 billion of you. Not even one of you is out of their reach. They control all of you. And they the ones who decide who divided countries. They're the ones who advise USA. They're the ones who keep the US hegemony. Actually, they're the real power that hide behind US. People talk about the US hegemony. I like to talk about the hegemony of those that run the world. Their hegemony is gonna last generation after generation. Have you ever wondered why sometimes USA has got like 100-year plans or 200-year plans and they seem to work? You know, the USA fought a Cold War. I mean, since the end of the Second World War until, recently, now they've got a new Cold War with China. But their war seemed to last generation after generation. You're wondering who keeps that? Who keeps record of the decisions made in 1944? And up to today, they still like this sequence as if there's someone who's not dying. Because, yes, it is. There is someone who's not dying. Because the person who's running US policy is not a human being. Okay? It's a spirit. So if the spirit makes a 150-year plan, you will all come, generations will come in and go, come in and go, but the spirit will still be there. It will still be pursuing its 150-year policy. And none of you can stop it. None of you. None of you. Okay? None of you can stop these spirits because they are super powerful and they are commanding. They tell politicians what to do. They tell politician policy. Even Joe Biden himself only says, I want to increase taxes, and they tell him, you're not increasing anything. Taxes are going down 10%. He has got no choice but to do it because they are the ones that run the world. So, interesting in this layer, I'm saying these things because it's what I'm observing. First of all, as a prophet of God and as a politician, and seeing things in the spirit, and the Lord showing me stuff, I'm coming to these conclusions and these observations that between the spirits that run the world, all right, and the country that runs the world. For example, USA right now, the country that they are using right now is USA. It's called the superpower of the world. So American exceptionalism is not because Americans are exceptional. No, it's because the exceptional spirit that runs the world is in Washington, or using Washington, or running the world, or managing the countries of the world via Washington, USA, using American politicians. So let the American politicians not be proud to think that they actually run the world. They don't. They actually, yes, they do, but at the mercy of these spirits that actually run the world. But between the American government and the spirits in the middle is another special group of people. These are not spirits. These are people that run the world. Now, the people that run the world are not necessarily politicians. Some of them might be, some might be in business or not. These are the shadow government, or what you call the shadow government. I like these guys because they run all governments. They can be in any government. They can be in any nationality, or from any nationality. These guys, they are chosen by the spirits that run the world. They choose who they want to give that power to influence the politicians. So some politicians will not speak to spirits. They will speak to people. People who speak to spirits will run the world. And let's just say, for example, a person can influence American politics. That very same person can also influence Russian politics, or even influence Chinese politics, but they're just one person. If America is fighting Russia, that one person can be advising the Russians and advising the Americans at the very same time. And then you're wondering whose side they are on. You do not know, because it's according to how the spirits that run the world want things to be done. So the sovereignty is with the angel of the Lord that runs the earth. He's the only one who's sovereign. And his sovereignty actually is also dependent on God Himself, because it is Christ. Christ is God. He's the one who gives him that sovereignty. He also runs the world at the mercy of the Lord Jesus, the angel that runs the world. And then he will have his people, you know, that control the politics, the global politics. Some of those people might be leaders. Some of them might not be leaders at all. Some of them might not even be popular at all, but they are very influential and they make things happen. They can change the course of countries, they change history. That is why you will see that some of our history seems to be managed, it seems to be staged. Because they plan. These spirits, they sit down and plan that in the next 8 years, this is what we're gonna do on earth. So whether it's me doing it or it's you, or it's your neighbor, or it's the next generation or the next generation after that, they will carry on that same line of of these spirits that run the earth. Okay, wherever they are, they're probably higher dimensional beings that do those things. So I just want you not to be aware that there is actually spirits that run the world. So in the context of Zimbabwe, whereby Zimbabweans are wondering, when is change going to come? When are things going to be better? I did a video a few days ago speaking about, I was praying and I saw in the spirit a meeting. Interesting. I saw in the spirit a meeting of probably 200 people sitting and discussing Zimbabwe, how it's going to be resuscitated. Now, these were, I was seeing spirits that were discussing, which means I was seeing the spirits that run the world discussing about Zimbabwe. And they let me understand that they actually want to change the country, make the country better. So, having said that, those spirits are probably gonna disseminate that information to the people that run the world and to the countries that lead the world. And there's no politician who can stop it. Doesn't matter whether you are ED, you're not powerful. Okay, whether you're ZANU PF, you're not powerful. Okay, ZANU PF is there at the mercy of these spirits that run that run the earth, and probably other planets as well that we've got no business talking about because we know nothing about them. Okay, so we focus on planet Earth. So 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 no matter how powerful you are, that feeling of power comes from them. That power comes from them. You exercise that power, or you wield that power, whether you're an Edim Nangagwa, you're a Ramaphosa, you're a Joe Biden, you're the King of England. You you, you you exercise that power at the grace of the spirits. Okay, at their mercy. They're the ones who what make those things to happen. So should they desire that you will be powerless, you will be powerless. Should they desire that you die, you die. Should they desire that you live longer, you live longer. Should they desire that people who pursue you fail to kill you, so be it. You understand what I'm talking about? Now, the major reason why I'm making this video is it's possible to bring hope to the Zimbabweans, to tell them that I did pray and I did see in the spirit these spiritual beings. They opened my eyes to see them sitting in a meeting. And they made me aware that, okay, these people that you are seeing are not people. Okay, these are spiritual beings in heavenly places. Only God knows where those heavenly places are. I don't even know the plane of existence in dimensions above us. How do they exist there? And how do they relate with us? Or what is it that we give them? What they give? I don't know. But I know that they showed me that. And as they showed me that meeting, they were deliberating on Zimbabwe, obviously with the intention of bringing the country into blessing. And during that time, I didn't understand that. So if the spirits decide Zimbabwe will be blessed, what are they gonna do? Because they might just as well come and tell people make the country better, and people just gonna refuse. Then I have learned over the days that no, actually nobody can refuse whatever they want, they're gonna get. Guys, these are Godhead. I'm talking about Godhead spirits. God Himself is the one who initiated these things, who made things to be like that. So these spirits are not God. But God himself will call that Godhead or the council of God. If you read the Bible, it talks about the council of the 24 elders. So if the 24 elders sit and make a decision and pass a judgment on anything, God says it is God. Even though it's the 24 elders, because God operates through the 24 elders. So these spirits as well, God operates through them. Because I don't want to touch many subjects, but it brings me to a certain thought about the Old Testament. When people say that in the Old Testament, when talk about Yahweh, actually it's an alien God. It's not God who created heaven and earth. It's Lord Enlil or Enlil from whatever galaxy. Now here's the thing, this is the understanding that God gave me, that it really doesn't matter even if it is an alien from another planet that probably destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, as some people think, or whatever, or what. But at the end of the day, Yahweh himself is inside that alien being. So such that God claims it. You see, God claims things that are done by his creatures. When you go and do something, God claims that it's him. For example, I'm making a video. God can claim and say, I, God, made a video. But it doesn't God, it was me, Ngobani Zondo, speaking to you on the camera. But God will say that I spoke to you in a video. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? How God exists in all of his creation and is able to claim, if one of his creation does things, he can say it's me. So hence, I want to answer that question of people say that in the Old Testament it wasn't Yahweh. It wasn't Yahweh, the God who created the world. It was some alien being. Both of them can be correct. It could be an alien being, and Yahweh in the alien being, because you want to see Yahweh. How does it look like? Even when the Bible says we're made in the image of God, some people say no, it's the aliens who made us in their image. It's still the same thing. Those aliens could have made us, yes. We could have been a product of some bioengineering, alien technology that changes our DNA. It could be true. At the same time, God can still claim that it is him, because God is working through those aliens anyway. I know Christians sometimes they want to be very narrow-minded, to think that their existence or their religion is all that there is in the whole universe, but maybe they don't understand that Christ himself is more expansive than we know, is more expanded than we know. Christ is Christ even to the aliens, but probably the name by another name, but basically the same person, the same virtues, the same teaching, the same everything. But we just do not know that, because we have got no concept of other dimensions and other planes of existence and how they interact with each other. I think I'm going off a tangent, but anyway, there's hope for Zimbabwe. Good night.